Welcome back, grade 1, to our mathematics lesson for today. Now, yesterday, Mrs. Rule was talking about growing patterns and how we can count in different ways and how we can also use different objects and things that we have at home to count. Okay, now today, in this lesson, we're going to explore counting sequences. Okay, so when we count in ones, we count forwards, counting up every single number, or we count backwards and we count each number. Today, we're going to talk about counting in twos. Now, I know some of you know how to count in twos already, so we're going to have a recap of how to count in twos. So remember, when we count in twos, we don't actually count every single number. We need to skip every second number so that we can count in twos. Okay. Now, I want you to pause this video really quickly and I want you to go and get 20 different objects. So I've got some cutlery, I've got some toy cars, I've got some Lego blocks. So whatever you have at home, I want you to go and get 20 objects, okay? All right, now that you've got those objects, the first thing I want you to do is actually get your writing pencil and your notebook, and we're going to write down counting in twos from 2 all the way to 20. So we're not going to use our objects yet. We're just going to practice writing down from 2 to 20. Okay, so I want you to say it with me. All right, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Well done. Okay, this time I want you to get your pencil, and here's my piece of paper. I want you to get your pencil, and I want you to have a go at writing from 2 all the way to 20. So we're going to work together when we do it though. Okay, so we'll say it at the same time and write it. Okay, here we go. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Okay. All right. Now, what I want you to do is have a look, and this time you can point to what you've written, and we're going to count in twos again. So, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Well done. Okay, now I have a question for you. Now, I wonder why counting in twos is quicker than counting in ones. Wonder if you can have a little think about why you think counting in twos might be quicker than counting in ones. It's because you don't need to count every number, only every second number. So it makes counting go a lot quicker than if you were to count from 1 all the way through to 20. Whatever number that you're counting to, okay? Counting in twos is a much quicker way, okay? All right. Now, another way that we can say for counting in twos is actually called skip counting by twos. All right, so that's a really good thing to remember. So we actually skip counting by twos when we're counting in twos. Okay, now, this is what we're going to do with our objects now. So you should already have those with you if you paused the video earlier. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to put them in pairs. So that means having 2 objects next to each other. So we're going to line them up in pairs. So it doesn't matter what you have, we're going to line them up. We're going to have 2 things next to each other all the way. Okay, ready easily to grab for when we're going to do our counting. Okay, So I've got my first few lined up. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get my first two things and we're going to practice counting in 2's, just like we did before, but now we're using our objects that we have. Okay, so here we go. 2. Oh, if I bring it back, there we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. All right. Now, if you didn't just do that at the same time as me, it's now your turn also to have a go at using your objects to count from 2 all the way to 20, okay? So this actually helps you remember what number you might be up to. It's a nice hands-on way that we can do our skip counting, okay? So I'm going to do it again, and this time I want you to make sure you join in with me. Okay, here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Well done. So if we go along and we've got our pairs all together, we can just go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Makes counting a lot easier. Now I've got some questions that I'm going to ask you. Now, okay. All right. What do we call it when we count by 2's? I just talked about it before. It was a special way that we can say that we're counting in 2's. I wonder if you can remember. That's right. It is skip counting by 2's. Well done. Okay, the next question that I have for you is, how did you arrange the objects to skip count them in 2's? So when you had all your objects before and they're in a pile, how did you arrange them before we started counting them in 2's? I wonder, I mentioned a special word. Starts with the letter P. I wonder if you can remember. That's right, pairs. So we arrange them in pairs. So pairs means 2 objects together. Or we could have said 2 groups of 2, okay? Or groups of 2, okay? We've got lots of different groups of 2 there, okay? So this is one group of 2. Well done. Okay, excellent. Now, I'm going to say a number, and you need to write down the number that is 2 after it, okay? So still thinking about the skip counting by 2's pattern. When I say a number, you need to think about the number that comes 2 after it. So for example, if I was to say the number 2, what would be the number that's 2 after it? So 2, I've got to think about what my skip counting pattern is. 4. Well done. So 4 would be what you need to write down. So make sure you have your pencil and your paper, and you need to write down the number that is 2 after what I say. Okay, so I've just done the first one. If I was to say the number 6, so put 6 in your head. Okay, and remember that we need to count on 2, so we've got to skip. So what is it? Write it down. Well done. It is the number 8, because 8 is 2 after 6. Well done. Well, we're going to get into some tricky ones now, into past 10. Okay, what about if I said the number 12? So think about 12. What's 2 after 12? Have a think. Write it down. All right, the answer is 14. Well done if you wrote 14 down. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. If I was to say the number 18, What is 2 more than 18? Write your answer down. That's right, it's 20. Well done. Okay, and we're going to do one more. If I was to write down the number 14, and I needed to write down 2 after what 14 is, I wonder what it would be. That's right, 16. Well done. You guys are doing such a great job. Okay. If you like, later on, you can also practice this again using your objects, and you can practice counting in 2's by moving the pairs along, okay? It's a great way to practice counting in 2's. All right. Now, this here is the worksheet that you can do after you've watched this video. Now, if you have a look here, it says count by 2's at the top. So your job's going to be to write down, so it's given you some hints already. So you've got 2, 4, then you've got to think about the counting pattern, and you've got to go, what comes after 4 if I'm counting by 2's? So it'll be 6, 8, well done, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now we've just talked about counting in 2's from 2 to 20, but now it's going to get a little bit tricky because we haven't actually spoken about continuing on all the way up to number 60, or just past 60. So you just need to remember to keep going in 2's. So you've got 20, then you've got 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and you need to keep going all the way until you get to the end. Well done. Now, if you can't print this out at home, that's okay. You can just write down on your piece of paper the missing numbers, or you can go from 2 all the way and you can write all the numbers through until the last one, which will be 62. Okay? Great work. Well, thanks for joining in today, grade 1, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye.